Hi guys, hi people. How are we all doing? How has the period or season been? Ah, yeah, so I'm just here to share general thoughts. I apologize for not putting out a video last week, but I think I have to take back my promise. it's not um, it's not easy creating content in this period for some reason. Not sure why, but to be honest with you, it's not been easy for me. So yeah, I don't think I'll be able to keep up with putting out content every week. Anyways, today I'm just here to see your face, to share my general thoughts with you. How have you been now? Have you been holding up? How are your family members? Okay. Let me get into the thoughts. So I have 3 thoughts that have been running through my mind, and I'll just go straight into them. I think the first one will be, as weird as this period is, this is actually one of those times to invest, to invest selectively and to invest randomly yourself. And what do I mean by selectively? What are those areas that you have always wanted to kind of build? And I'm not saying this in a cliche manner. What are those areas deep down you've wanted to build in yourself? Yeah, there's a bug. There's this depressing bug everywhere. For me, that is not making people to maximize the time. And yes, this is a pandemic, you shouldn't be maximizing the times, but to be honest, there are a few things that you can invest in this period and in this time. So for me, selectively, there are lots of IG lives, Instagram lives that have been educative, that are going on now. A lot of people are putting themselves out, amazing people, because I don't know how they get the strength to, but they consistently giving themselves to others. There's a lot of access to knowledge, and there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot to choose from, which can be confusing, but this is where the point of selection comes to play. For me, for example, I realize new passions. Not like a new, I've always liked them. I've always liked finance. So I am now more akin to listening to people who deal with or talk about finance, economy, and maximizing these times to build wealth, kind of. So I'm listening to those kinds of people, I'm on those kinds of platforms. Also, I'm listening to people who are very personal development and mental health aware. Just what I personally want to invest in right now. And I am listening to people that I've sort of respected and listened to in the past. Mentors or pastors that have been helpful in the past. So a few of these things that I've listed, a few of those people that I follow the Bamboo Invest app. They have an IG page, and then they invite different money stewards, people who have been good in finance or who are doing well in finance, personal finance, corporate finance. They invite them to come and speak on their page. So I listen to that. I try to tune into every session, and I also listen to, in the mental health space, or there's some people that I used to follow Eventecture before. So once in a while when she has IG Live, I still follow her and listen to her. Then there's Pastor Pojoyima, who brings on different people from both the corporate and the Christian worlds, and speaking to people, giving hope. So I listen to those kinds of people. There are a few more, but I mean those are like my basics. I will try hard not to miss their IG live or whatever they are putting out there. So yeah, randomly, reading a book. I haven't really been reading any book, but I listen to people read books, which is weird. And it's not what you'd expect. I listen to someone telling a story or reading a storybook or something. I don't mind those. Randomly, watching some series on Netflix that are, in quote, enlightening or interesting. Randomly, funny part is that I haven't been listening to. I listen to messages, but not that much. Not sure why, but it'll be a good time to randomly. Funny enough, randomly I've stumbled on a few new preachers that I like. Brian Houston, I like him. I like his messages. Randomly. Randomly, I also attended an IG live by, I think, Moriah Odukoya. It was about postpartum depression. It was quite enlightening. So yeah, randomly, selectively be in spaces that are building you, invest in yourself. Now also, when you're investing in yourself, I think you should invest in your financial world, your financial life. This is the time to buy stocks. This is the time to invest in another currency that is not Naira for we Nigerians, because, well, it is what it is. Our economy still has a lot of work to do if it's going to get to those it's going to get to the point where it will compete financially with the currency of other bigger economies. So it's a time to invest, because who knows, you might drop further. So there are different apps that you can use that are making things easy now. I think there's Rise. If you go on Tech Cabal, you see that they had an article on some Nigerian apps that you can use to invest in 2020. Really good apps. I use the Bamboo app, thanks to a family friend, Lotana and Kelechi. Thank you guys. So yeah, it's a good time to invest in your financial future. It's also a good time to, I talked a lot about investing, I think I'll soon move away from it, it's a good time to invest in your spiritual life. There's no better time, to be honest. Yes, some people still work from home. For instance, my husband works from home. He's on break now, and that's how come I have this space to myself. He works from home like the normal work hours, but it's not still as crazy. You don't still have to go out, every day and be stuck in traffic. So there's a little more time at hand that you can invest into a great relationship with God. And building your relationship with God is ultimately building yourself, because we're spirit first before we are soul and before we are body. So yes, it's a good time to invest in relationship with God. Moving on, my second general thoughts is giving. So I want to how will I put it? So a lot of people are actually in need in this period. It also boils down to the economy. A lot of people are living hand to mouth. I'm one of them because I'm self-employed currently. So I work as a photographer, an architect with a group of people, but mostly as a photographer. And if you haven't been giving to yourself, savings and all that in the past, this is going to be a very difficult period of time. My advice to you, is to still find a way to make wealth or make money. I still take on some jobs. I know it's kind of against the law, but here in Port Harcourt, the lockdown isn't so strict here yet. So, and to also look to God as your ultimate source. He will fend for you and He will defend you. But when this is over or beyond this, I think we all need to see the importance of savings and not just spending all that we have, not just living hand to mouth. Yes, you can be self-employed, but there's a need to, when you have your plenty money, rather than running to go and buy the latest gadget to add to your collection, save some. And then in terms of giving too, I've witnessed a few narcissistic people. This is not the time to expect your friends to always be there for you, or they should, but if they aren't, it's not the time to guilt trip them or feel bad. Let the giving come from you all the time, right? Let the giving come from you. Stop expecting people to give to you in this period. It sounds harsh, but it is what it is. I remember I saw a post by Tia Mowry and another lady. It was screen grabbed, Tia Mowry, and I respect Tia Mowry a lot, love her, but yeah, she was wrong. She wrote that this is the period for you to test your friends and to see your true friends, those that are calling you, those who are checking on you, and stuffs in those lines. Then there's this another lady, I think she's Nigerian, Aduni Ade, I think so. And then she replies and she's like, no, this is not the time to be narcissistic. This is a pandemic and you should be considerate. If you're not doing the giving, if you're not doing the calling, then it's fine. You shouldn't be testing people's loyalties in a pandemic because everybody's in a different space, mentally, physically. People just stop assuming. Stop it. Let live and let live. If you can call people, it's fine. I haven't called a lot and not many people have called me either, but I'm still good and they are good and we are good. Doesn't mean you shouldn't check on people, right? But let the giving come from you. Let you be the one doing. Stop judging. Just let it go. You're not calling people, fine, but stop testing people's loyalties and stop guilt-tripping people. I don't know how else to say it. I hope you understand. But yeah. And then the final thing that was crossing my mind is how we need to start thinking how this whole thing will change a lot of things when it's done. How we have to not be myopic, how we have to be, myopic, short-sighted, how we can't be short-sighted, we can't afford to be short-sighted, which is why I started with investing in yourself. I remember listening to one talk with one IG live talk with Pastor Poju, and it was with Mensel Tabio. And I know that Cindy Trim has also said something like that before, how automation is knocking at the door, like serious automation, like the industrial revolution at another level, at another spike is going to happen, because a lot of leaders, a lot of industries, a lot of leaders, a lot of world leaders, company leaders have seen the effect of a bio weapon on their businesses. But bioweapons cannot attack robots, viruses, yes, can, but bioweapons cannot attack economies if they are majorly being run by robots or being moved by robots. So factory workers will now be robots instead of human beings. These are things to think about. And a lot of banks, things that can be automated, it's time to start looking at those. And I watched this series on Netflix, it's not so popular, Scorpion, and one of the main characters, Walter, he says a lot of things are useless if they're not, if a lot of courses are useless if they're not pure maths or science. And I'll add to that arts, things that are in between. I'm not trying to be condescending or anything, but I'm just saying it so that we can review and maybe start adding skills or start thinking in another direction. Things like things that can be done without thinking. Labor, you see in China how they built a hospital in a few weeks without so much human labor as such. So those things where you require excessive human labor or capital, they may become automated, especially for those of you or those of us that are living in more developed countries. You're an accountant, you're all these things that you, even driving cars, who knows, it may become automated soon. So let us start drivers, all this kind of manual labor that is not so good. Things that we have to think of, what are those things that can be easily disposable. And if you watch some of these old cartoons, they'll give you an idea of some of those things. The Jetsons, some of these movies, they will give you an idea of what the future might be. Even by praying to God, He will give you an idea of what the future might be. And it will help to also, for instance, I don't think entertainment as such will leave. I don't think so. I don't think robots can take the place of musicians, footballers. I don't know, but I don't know. So what are those areas that we have perceived or conceived as irrelevant? It may be time to start looking at those places again, especially for we young people. We're building families. It'll be easier to advise your children on the places and the things to look at. It will be easier to guide them in the coming years, because things are going to change. Imagine those parents in those times, those families that evolved with time, were the families that actually evolved with time, and these things that were relevant to time, adapted per time. So these are my few thoughts. I think I have said a lot. Let me know what your own thoughts are, your general thoughts, your wandering thoughts. These are my wandering thoughts, and I hope it has been entertaining thoughts. So I will be my 1 year anniversary is next week, And I would like you guys to share questions with that you want me to answer my husband. I'll be begging my husband to come on to join me, but he's not going to do that. So I will pass your questions to him, and then maybe he'll give me, and then I'll share with you guys. And let me know what else you'd like to see, what content you'd like to see. Thank you for staying on thoughts. Be safe. God is with you, God is with us, and much love.